Hi, and welcome to the Rambling Rector. I've had a couple of people ask me about the lectionary. Now, that's a list of the readings for each of the services each day. So if you're leading Holy Communion, or if you're leading morning prayer or evening prayer, then this is the go-to source for the readings for each of those services. So you might be setting up a service, or as I say, you might be leading it yourself and you want to find out what the readings are. And it's not guesswork, it's all set up for you. So the church has decided that it's going to have a look at most of the contents of the Bible over a 3-year cycle. And you'll have Year A and Year B and Year C. And depending on what year you're living through and setting up your services, that will be the year for you. Now the year, rather confusingly, runs from Advent right the way through to the end of Ordinary Time, which is of course the church year. So you'll need a new lectionary around about 4 weeks before Christmas, and actually perhaps even a few weeks before that. The information is generally readily available, and if you're working in a church, you might even have a revised common lectionary to hand. If not, I suggest that you can go online, and the Vanderbilt University has an awesome resource, and I've put a link below, that will enable you to set up lots and lots of services with all of the appropriate readings. So you really just need to work out where you are in the church year, what the date is, and the readings will be there. The idea is that over the course of 3 years, you look at pretty much all the Gospels, most of the readings from Paul's epistles, quite a number of the other books of the New Testament, and the principal books of the Old Testament as well. So quite a lot of information, but it's a great source and a great resource for you to be able to effectively listen to or read the Bible over a protracted period, which answers another problem, which is, have you read the whole Bible? And I'm not sure that anyone's managed to read the whole Bible in all of its various parts, but it's worth a try, and the lectionary helps us to do that. So what does it actually look like? Well, I have one here. So this is the lectionary that's actually produced for Australia, a prayer book for Australia. This one happens to be Year C, which is focused on the Gospel of Luke. Now you'll find when you open this up that there is across the top a series of dates, and down the side you have the month, the days of the week, and then you'll have the columns: Holy Communion, morning prayer, and evening prayer. And under each, for each day of the church year, you'll have a series of readings, and you might have some alternative readings as well, so you may get to choose. But if you're going to give any information to anybody else, make sure that you've told them if you've chosen something else. You'll also see that the readings that are set for Sundays are almost universally the same. So you are pretty sure that if you're choosing a particular Sunday service, you will be able to identify which of the readings you have. But there are quite a few other lectionaries that are available, and the one for Australia, for example, does differ week by week from the one that is available through the Revised Common Lectionary. So again, it's really important to keep an eye out for that. Now, in addition to the readings set for each day, you'll find from time to time a Saints' Day, and they're allocated on what's called the calendar. Now, the calendar you'll find online again, or you might find it, in this particular case, a prayer book for Australia, or your local national prayer book like Common Worship in the Church of England and elsewhere. The calendar is really a list of dates and saints that are remembered, and they link in turn back to the lectionary and sometimes back to particular collects and special prayers. Now I have here an excellent book called Exciting Holiness. Now, this is available principally for the Church of England, Church of Wales, and Church of Scotland, but it's an excellent resource for everybody else. And again, I'll put the ISBN down in the details for you to be able to find one. You may be able to find new copies, but certainly secondhand there's plenty. And this is a list of all of the saints' days and a brief biography and the readings set for that particular saint. Now again, a word of warning, the readings differ from pretty much everywhere else, but the saints' information is quite accurate, and actually it's a really good resource. So there you've got the lectionary itself, you've got it online, and you've also got it in book form. You've got the revised common lectionary, which might appear in your particular church. If you see it, it's often a really, really big book with all of the readings in it as well, but that's a very, very good resource. You'll also find various readings for various days of the week in many prayer books, but actually it's probably easier to go to the lectionary and to pull those off. Now, I hope I've made that fairly clear. It's not difficult, it just needs a little bit of practice. And most times it's really about confidence, as with so many things. But it's important, if you're going to give readings to somebody, to check that they're reading you're reading from the same lectionary, and that you've agreed what those readings are going to be. I wish you well in your endeavours. I think it's really interesting to actually follow along with these ideas and to work out what you're doing for the various services, and making sure, of course, that they are relevant to the year and to the time that you're actually delivering them. So I wish you well, and happy planning with your lectionary.